Good morning, Desert Sands Unified School District. My name is Sean Webb, and I'm your Director of Community Engagement in the Educational Foundation, and you're watching Classroom Conversations. Here we are in, episode 11 for Season 2. I want to thank a couple of people before we move on. Craig Campbell over at CoachellaValley.com. Thank you for allowing us to land this on your page. We greatly appreciate the partnership with you, and as well as to our followers on Twitter and Facebook with the Desert Sands Educational Foundation, as well as our families with Desert Sands Unified School District. As well, I do want to thank the Desert Sands Educational Foundation Board for allowing this to happen as they applied for a grant with the City of Indio. And Indio is actually sponsoring this for this year. But I'd like to read the mission statement. The Desert Sands Educational Foundation secures funding and awards money to provide supplemental resources that enrich and enhance student learning in Desert Sands Unified School District. And their vision statement. In partnership with public and private sectors, Desert Sands Educational Foundation financially supports creative and innovative programs that enrich and enhance the educational experience in the academics, the arts, and the extracurricular activities that engage all students and staff in Desert Sands Unified School District. Well, without any more from me, I'd like to go ahead and bring on our co-host, Chef Mary. Chef Mary, how you doing?
Hey, good morning. I'm doing well. It's my day. It's my day off.
You got to love your day off. You got to love your day off, definitely. But before we move on any further, I just want to make sure, Mary, as you know, they're a great partner of ours. Thank you to the City of Indio for your sponsorship this year. And Brooke can't be with us today, Mary, but she's going to join us next week.
Okay, great.
Yeah. But how about we go over some quick updates, and then we'll get to our special guest that we have today.
I know. It's a surprise. That's going to be good.
Oh, I don't know if it's so much a surprise, but blowing it up. I'm excited. I've never talked to an Olympian before, so we're going to have some fun. But let me bring up the Desert Sands Twitter here. Here we got going on. We just had the most recent UCAN report. We're talking about the different programs that we have with our CTE programs. I want to thank Cindy UCAN and her staff for doing that. Hey, you got to love this. Our Classroom Conversations was the highlight of Twitter yesterday. From our conversation with Randy, and pretty awesome to catch up with him. For those of you that don't know, we caught up with a classmate. He was actually a graduate of La Quinta High in 2017, and he's now a successful business owner, and he's going to be working with the foundation on some events. So we caught up with him. Let's see here. We sent out the Safe Successful Schools webinar. We shared information about that. So if you want to check out our Twitter, you can check that out. It's got information that was given out by the state superintendent, as well as this is pretty special. I want to put a big highlight here. We have now exceeded 2,500 followers in regards to Desert Sands on Twitter. I will say Facebook, we definitely have more of a following, and our Instagram is growing, but we just achieved 2,500 followers on our Instagram. So that's awesome. Pretty cool. Yeah. But Jan told me there's been some questions about our district website and how you can find some specific information. So if anybody wants to look up information about Desert Sands, you go to DSUSD.us, and this is the one that's specific. People have been asking about the dashboard. So if you see up here, anybody that's watching, you can see you can click in between here and these different banners. And the easiest way to get to the COVID dashboard is to go ahead and click through the banners where it says COVID dashboard. You click for more information. Pretty simple, right, Mary?
Yeah, that sounds really good.
Yeah, and then you click right here, and it says it right there. It'll bring you right to the dashboard. It'll give you the current numbers of everything that's going on in Desert Sands. But that's that simple to get to DSUSD.us just to get there to find out information about COVID and so forth.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and lastly, before I move on, we also know that Mr. Bailey, you can check out Super Seconds for the most brief pandemic information. Chef Mary and I love that the most because it's the easiest to look at.
Yeah,
he condenses it down for us, definitely.
Yeah, he breaks it down too a little bit, which is good.
Yeah. But there's one more page that I want to show, and I want to kind of highlight, Mary, and this has to do with our guest that we have today. Joining us today is a gentleman that I first met when he was a freshman in high school. I will say a lot of his friends and so forth were at Palm Desert High on my football team, but this young man didn't play football, but all of his friends did. I felt like he got to hang out. And I also coached this young man's older sister in softball. But with us today, we're going to have Scotty Burcham. As you can see here, he's wearing a lot of blue and white. He's wearing Team Israel. And as you know, Chef Mary, he just represented Team Israel as well as the Coachella Valley and La Quinta and Palm Desert High in the Olympics.
Oh, my gosh.
So why don't we bring on Scotty, and we'll talk to him a little bit and see how things are going. All right, let's see here. Technical issues. Hey, Scotty, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Excellent. Thank you for joining us on Classroom Conversations.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I put down there you're a class of 2011 alum at Palm Desert High, and most recently you were in Tokyo. Maybe you could just tell us a little bit what have you been doing since 2011, and we'll get to the Olympics here in a second.
Yeah, I graduated in 11 from Palm Desert High, and then played baseball at Sacramento State for 4 years.
Okay.
Then I got drafted by the Colorado Rockies in 2015, and I've been playing with the Rockies organization for the last 7 years.
Okay.
I got to play in the World Baseball Classic in 2017 with Team Israel, as well as the Olympics this year. So that's what I've been doing.
Oh, that's pretty amazing. No, it's just awesome. And so I'll flat out ask, I know you're from the Coachella Valley. You grew up, you went to Palm Desert High School. I actually found out from Mrs. Wood that you were a student of hers over at John Glenn Middle School. How is it that you were able to play for Team Israel?
I was in Asheville, North Carolina, playing with the Rockies low A team, and my manager came up to me, and he asked me if I was Jewish. So I thought that was kind of a random question to ask me, but I said yeah, and he said you need to talk to Jerry Weinstein, who's the head coach for the Colorado Rockies, or not head coach, sorry, the head coach for Team Israel.
Okay.
And so I gave him a call, and then the rest is history. I got to play in 2016 in Brooklyn with the team to try to qualify for the World Baseball Classic. And we won that qualifier and played in the World Baseball Classic in Korea and Japan. Wow. That's how it all started.
Okay. Wow, that's fantastic. Mary, I want to show you a picture here. I actually pulled this from the Desert Sun, and that's a picture that I was able to pull from an article. And then what goes along with this picture? So Mary, that's him in 2000. What is this? 2010 or 11 here? Scotty? 2010. Can you tell us what game this was during?
That was the CIF championship game.
Yeah, CIF championship game in 2010, and just amazing. So I posted that we were doing this. You're gonna love this, Scotty. I don't know, it might be a little embarrassing here, but I posted on my Facebook, and then I tagged your mom, your dad, some coaches. I tagged your sister, and then Coach Salazar said this is his all-time favorite pick from that game. You know, Coach Salazar has been coaching baseball, I want to say, longer than I've been alive. So that's a big feat there. And then you got to love this. Tell us what is this all about? Coach Salati said call you Scooter. What's that all about?
I played baseball with Bo, his daughter. When we were younger, we played travel ball together, and that's what my mom used to call me. Okay. When I was hitting, she still calls me it, but when I was hitting or fielding or whatever, she would cheer using Scooter. So Mike Salati used to kind of make fun of me, but so that's what
that is just too much, too fun. So, Chef Mary, this is our first time talking to an Olympian. Do you have a question for Scotty about his journey before we get to the Olympics?
I know. I was just always wondering, like, the Olympics always seem to be swimming and, those individual events. And now you get to a whole team event. So how many teams are in the event that you pair down to?
For baseball, there were 6 teams at the Olympics, but there were a bunch of tournaments that you had to win to qualify for the Olympics. So there was probably over 30 or 40 teams to start. But when we went to the Olympics, there was only 6 teams that were there with baseball.
Okay, so you guys are definitely the elite of the world at the time for playing baseball. I think that's amazing. Yeah. You got the opportunity to not only represent yourself, but also represent Israel. That's just outstanding.
Thank you.
Yeah. I want to add this picture up here. Mary, you're going to love this. Let's see here. This picture here. Can you tell us what's going on here, Scotty?
Yeah, that's us lining up to do the national anthems before our first game, I believe.
Oh, wow. How exciting.
Yeah. And I wish there were fans. Obviously, there weren't fans there, but it would have been really cool. Yeah. Because the stadium was it was a really cool stadium.
Yeah. Hey, just so you know, we do have some comments coming in. And I always like to go ahead and put these up here. One of our families is watching, Lisa Ford, worked with his grandpa, Dr. Curlin at Eisenhower. How proud he must be. So you got to love that the community here's watching and so forth. And as I do with all comments, and although it doesn't pertain to this right now, there is a comment that's asking about masks. Reggie, please know that our school board meets and they make those decisions as based on county health and so forth. I know that doesn't really go with this conversation, but I always make sure to show the comments and so forth. But Scotty, I'm going to bring up another picture here, which is pretty fascinating. Tell us what's going on here.
Yeah, that's Danny Valencia. He just hit a home run, so I was just celebrating with him. So I think I was on base when he hit that, so I just scored.
Okay. That's pretty amazing that you had this opportunity. And tell me, what are the facilities like for the Olympics in comparison to what you see in the farm system over with the Colorado Rockies?
The fields were that field is the only field we played games on, but we didn't practice there. They wouldn't let us practice there.
Okay.
The practice facilities were Japanese colleges, so they were pretty similar to what we're used to in the States, except for they're mostly AstroTurf, all turf fields. And then the Olympic Village was really cool. The apartments were.
Is that what we have here?
Yeah, that's the Olympic Village. Bunch of flags lined up in one area of the village, and then the apartments were like a suite with 4 rooms in it.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they had like a shopping area where you could go buy Olympic gear, get massages, pedicures, whatever you needed, a haircut.
Okay. I love it. Massages. I never thought I'd hear Scott Burcham talk about getting a massage and pedicure, but the baseball shortstop player. But on that note, just so you know, I went ahead and I reached out to some people, and they actually want to come on and say hello to you and check in on how you're doing. And the first person, he's like, I'm not sure if he's going to know who I am. He may know me by name, but he may not know me by seeing me. But that first person is our own Desert Sun reporter, Shad Powers. He's going to join us on here. How you doing, Shad?
Hey, how's it going, Scotty? Glad to be here.
How are you?
Good. I know we've talked on the phone a bunch of times, but I didn't know if we've met in person officially. But congratulations. That was so exciting for everybody for you to be playing in the Olympics. That was pretty neat. Thank you. What was it like? I mean, did you have moments when you were out in the field where you were just sort of like had to stop and think to yourself, like, I'm an Olympian, this is happening? Yeah, I mean, you kind of had to make your own adrenaline just because of the whole no fan thing. But once the game started, it was all business, I guess. But it was mostly after just taking it all in the village and walking around and seeing where you were and what I've accomplished and what we've accomplished. So I think that was how I took it all in. Yeah, it's kind of interesting, right? Being a baseball player, in that baseball hasn't always been in the Olympics, or it's, growing up, it might not have been something you even ever considered, but what did it mean to you to play in the Olympics? I mean, it's something that I never even thought of. Playing in the World Baseball Classic was also something I never thought of, but the Olympics was completely different because I had to go to Israel and go through the whole citizenship. I had to get my citizenship in Israel, and I was lucky enough to do it right before the pandemic started. So I think I went in November in 2019, and then it was like February or March where COVID really hit us hard, and so I was fortunate enough to be able to get it all done and participate. So that was cool to see those pictures of the Olympic Village and hear you talk about that a little bit. What was it like as far as food is concerned? Did they feed you guys in the rooms, or did you go to little restaurants, or how did eating work over there? It seemed like it was pretty restrictive. There was a cafeteria, so there was a 2-story cafeteria. It was it was a big cafeteria, and it was there were stations, so it would have American food, Italian food, Mexican food, and then Japanese cuisine, and so you had your choices, and definitely a lot of desserts there.
Hey, speaking of food, Chef Mary, can you imagine all the Olympics in one cafeteria, all the Olympians, all the different dietary restrictions and so forth.
My gosh.
Like I only do keto. I only do this. I'm vegetarian. Did you have any issues like that on your team, Scotty?
No, you'd be surprised what a lot of them eat. I mean, a lot of pizza and pasta.
Oh, okay. Carbon up.
Yeah, get the carbs in there.
Okay. Sean, when I did in San Diego earlier, I was with the San Diego running club, and we'd go down to Mission Bay and we'd run 10, 12, 26 miles or whatever we would run. And then we'd go to a local bar in Hillcrest and eat greasy hamburgers and French fries. Mm-hmm. So I know how that game plays out.
Yeah, a lot of dumplings from Japanese, a lot of sushi too. So
okay.
Did you see other famous Olympians in the cafeteria and in the village?
Yeah, I saw a lot of. Well, what most people would know is I saw a lot of basketball players from the NBA, like Luka Doncic and Rudy Gobert and those guys.
Cool.
So it was mostly those guys that people would know.
Is there an opportunity to go watch other sports?
No, they wouldn't let us. You could watch your own sport, but not other sports, which was kind of a bummer. Yeah.
There was actually one video that you posted on your Instagram that I just thought was amazing. You were in, was it the Adidas Village portion or whatever? You guys are getting
A6.
Can you share a little bit about that experience?
Yeah, I didn't even know about it. There was just a line. There was a long line, and so I asked people what it was, and they said there's free shoes in there. So they measure your foot with a laser, and they give you custom fit shoes to your foot.
Wow.
Yeah, so I don't even know where they are.
Too funny.
Yeah,
Too funny.
They're somewhere in my car or something. I don't know.
Okay. So as we do, Chad, if you don't mind, I'll keep you on here with our conversation. But as I do, I got another comment that came in. This is from that same parent, and I know Lisa well. Do you have any special memory from your time at Palm Desert High School? Perhaps it was with the adorable cheerleaders like her daughter, Brittany, that helped with spirit rallies that maybe you could share about your experiences at Palm Desert.
I loved high school. I grew up with most of the baseball players there, and I did know a lot of the cheerleaders there. I know Brittany was a little older than me.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, we won the CIF championship in 2010, and I'm still really close with most of the guys on that team. Actually, one of my teammates here was on the team with me. Brian.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Brian Servin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he's actually my roommate. He's probably asleep right now. But so just being able to win that in 2010 and be friends with them still and talk about it still today. So I would say that, and the whole experience at Palm Desert for me was a great one.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it. Speaking of Palm Desert, Shad said it's his own partner in crime back in the day when she was reporting here. We have somebody that's close to you, and I hope that the camera's working. We've got Olivia Garvey who's going to join us. Olivia, are you there?
Hi, yes.
Thank you for joining us. I know you're having some camera issues.
I am. I'm sorry, guys.
No problem. You're on with Scotty. What would you like to say with Scotty?
Hey.
Just with her yesterday.
We were just together yesterday in Vegas. I watched them play the Aviators. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, guys.
Maybe. So for those of you that don't know, Olivia Garvey is also a Palm Desert High School alum. And maybe Scotty and Olivia, if you guys can share why would I invite her on with us, with you, Scotty?
Because we've been together since 2010.
Look at that.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, they won the CIF championship, and I was like, I have to be with that one.
Well, with who your dad is, I'm surprised you didn't go, with a different position there. That's fantastic.
Well, we had discussions, trust me.
You're funny. So you may not be able to see him, but Shad Powers is here too, and I told him we were going to have you join.
That was my buddy. That was my high school football buddy.
Yeah, we did those broadcasts that year. That was fun. We had a good partnership out there on the field.
It's not the same though, huh?
No, it's not the same anymore.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
What about for you? How are things going in Washington?
Good. We start high school football tonight. It's a monster here. We got 22 games. Yeah, it's a different, it's a lot, but it's great out here. We got a lot going on.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, I'm glad to hear you're doing well over there. It seems like, what I see on social media and stuff, that things are going pretty well for you.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, we cover all the sports, and it's never ending. But
nice,
it's good.
yeah. That's
good.
Cool. Well, we miss you here in the desert for sure.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, Scotty, I was going to ask you about where you are right now. I know you're on the Albuquerque team in AAA, right?
Yeah.
You and Brian both.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how's that going? And then how are you like fitting in at the AAA level?
It's good. I'm in Albuquerque right now. So we just got back from a 14-day road trip. We were in Sugar Land, Texas, and then we went to Vegas for a week. And it's going well. I like the guys, and you play. I've been with the Rockies for 7 years, so I know most of the guys, and I've had the same manager for 4 years now. So it was an easy transition. So everything's going well.
That's cool. Obviously, when you're in AAA, that means you're just one step away from the majors. Of course, obviously, I know that's, of course, your big dream. How do you feel like now that you're on the doorstep? How does that kind of feel?
It's a little different just because you see guys go up and down weekly, and they talk about it, their experiences. So you just want to get there, and it's like a little taste of what it's like to be up there.
Right. Well, that's cool. I know we're like rooting for you. We've had a few guys from the desert make it to the majors in the last couple of years, so it'd be cool to add another one.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
I agree. I think it'd be absolutely amazing. And Chad, you may not know this, but I actually got to compete against Scotty in an athletic event out here most recently. And historically, pre-pandemic, there would be a football game on Thanksgiving morning called the Garvey Bowl. And that's the last time that I actually got to compete athletically against Mr. Scotty Burcham here, as well as against Olivia. Olivia got to participate too in that. But I'll tell you what, he's an amazing athlete. It's great to have him on here. I guess my last question for you, Scotty, before we let both you and Olivia go, you have a complex schedule. She's in Washington, D.C. How are you guys making this gel?
It's been like this for a while, actually. Because I went 4 years at Sacramento State, and she went to University of Arizona for a year, and then she bounced around to other schools. So I don't know, we're just kind of used to it now.
Okay.
But we make it work.
I love it.
Yeah.
Chef Mary, before we let him go, any questions for Scotty or Olivia?
Do you know, Scotty, I'm from San Diego, so we've followed the Padres from 1960 something, and probably Mr. Garvey as well. But I always wondered, like, when you're traveling and you've got this time zone changing and often on airplanes, and you see everybody come off with all their gear, like, how do you get your mindset to adjust to, you're on a plane, you're flying, and now you're on the ground, and now you've got to go play? Like, there has to be something there.
Yeah, usually, well, like in AAA, you don't go too far. You go like maybe an hour west or an hour east. So
okay.
Like in Albuquerque, it's an hour ahead of you guys. So like when we went to Sugar Land, we only lost an hour, and then when we went to Vegas, we gained an hour.
Okay.
So it wasn't too bad, and we take really early flights in the morning, and most guys will get off the plane and take a nap before the game because it's usually like a 7 o'clock game. So we'll get into airports at 9 a.m. and get to the hotel by 9:30, 10, and they'll sleep for 2 or 3 hours and then hit the bus.
Okay. There you go. And I have to apologize. I actually have one more question for both you and Olivia. I'll let you think about it, Scotty. I'm going to ask Olivia first. She's in front of the camera, so she's very good with on-point questioning, I'm sure. But Olivia, what advice would you give to maybe a Palm Desert High student that wants to go towards journalism? What is something you do? What's something you do differently, or something you'd like to share with them in regards to if they're going towards journalism?
Oh, I think just take every opportunity. I did not start in front of the camera. It didn't mean I didn't want to. It didn't mean that I wasn't going to, but I started in an audio booth, pressing buttons for other shows at the NFL Network. I had a job where I worked from 1 a.m. till 11 a.m. at the NFL Network. Any opportunity they gave me, I jumped at, because in this industry, you have to know how to do everything. You have to know how to work a camera. You have to know how to edit your own stuff. You have to prepare, and I think that is actually the number one thing, is just preparing for everything that comes your way, and I think that's the best advice I can give.
Okay, I love it. Yeah, take advantage of every opportunity. I love that. And then Scotty, for anybody that's in high school or middle school right now that's aspiring to be a professional athlete, what recommendations do you give them?
I would say to start. First off, in high school, I wish I played more sports. I played basketball for 2 years, but I think that when I got to college, my college coach actually encouraged. He liked 3-sport athletes because it almost helped them with baseball, because of basketball helps your footwork and it helps you in baseball, and football you can help your hand-eye if you're a receiver or whatever. But I think playing 3 sports is a big thing, and just to get your athleticism up and your different muscle functions and different things up, and then different ways to lift. I know football is a different lift than baseball, and but just starting, don't pick a sport right away. Do what you like, and if you like it, keep going and do whatever you can to get as good as you can at it. So
I love it. I love the advice. And I would say, Chef Mary and Chad, you can weigh in on this too. Very similar answers. Make sure you take advantage of everything and every opportunity. But I'll tell you what, you guys are making Aztec Nation proud. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, awesome.
I'll definitely share the information, and we'll download this information. You guys can add this video too. But Olivia, Scotty, thank you for taking the time.
For sure.
Yeah, this is outstanding. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Sean.
Olivia, you're in my hometown. I was born in Washington, D.C.
Oh, nice. Mary, it's great here. I really, truly do love it. So it's a great town.
Yeah, we actually left Washington, D.C. and went down to Southern Maryland, where my grandfather was the commanding officer at Patuxent River, and basically grew up there. But it's a great town, and it's a great city.
Absolutely. I love it. And everyone's great here. So
I love it.
You grew up in a good town.
You guys be well. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sean. Bye, Shaq. Good seeing you.
See you, Olivia.
See you guys.
All righty. Well, that was exciting. Like I said, we have an Olympian. Mary, we get just the best people to join us. And just outstanding. And Chad, thank you very much for joining. This is just a special moment, when we get to speak to our alum that are being so successful, and even better when we can bring a community member on to work with them too.
Yeah, that was fun. It was fun to be the third wheel there. I'm big fans of both of those too, and they gave some great advice there at the end. I've heard that from a lot of college coaches, that they like to see a 3-sport athlete. So that is good advice. Yeah. And like Olivia said, if you're going into journalism, I can attest to that. Definitely take anything you can get. Those internships and things like that are real valuable, more so maybe than even the college classes. But I'll go to college. Yes, I think that helps too. But once you're there, take those internships, take those what seem like crappy jobs, and those all help you in the long run.
Yeah, definitely, most definitely. And I didn't get to touch on them even more, but I've known those kids for a long time. I've known them since they're like 12, and heck, I've known Olivia since I want to say 7th grade. So it's just great to see them successful in their adult life.
Sure.
Definitely, most definitely. But Chad, I know that you're going to have a busy night with high school football.
Yep. I think I'm dipping into another district tonight. I'm going to Rancho Mirage against India, so I'll see some Rajas tonight.
Okay.
But we'll be at 4 of the games tonight, so that'll be good.
Okay.
I know Palm Desert's out in Utah, but they're having a good time. That should be interesting. Yeah,
I actually talked to Mr. Zink yesterday before. He was actually heading out after school to go up to the game and so forth with him and Coach Salazar and a couple other administrators. They're heading up there. But I know the team left yesterday. Mary, you got to love this. The whole team got on 2 buses. They traveled to Utah to play football. So when we can do things like that, that tells me that we're on our way back, right?
Exactly. And I miss the days when we were feeding the Quinta High School football team. That was really fun. Have those guys come in. They went through our buffet line like termites. I mean, it was like within 5 minutes, all of them played and they all ate.
That's so funny. Yeah, don't get your hands too close to them when they're to the buffet.
But speaking of college, or not college, but of high school football and Friday Night Lights, I'm happy to share, Mary, that the foundation board is allowing Kevin Pillow to have the Desert Sands Educational Foundation halftime show. And he's going to be hosting that starting tonight. And Shad, as I've been texting back and forth, if you can join us, that'd be amazing. I'm actually going to be the on-field reporter for the La Quinta game. I'm going to go there and help out Kevin while he's producing this from his house. And if you could give us some Indio highlights, that'd be amazing.
That's possible. Sometimes sometimes it doesn't work out great technology-wise on the sideline. But yeah, I mean, if I can help, I will try. But I don't want to
I understand
commit and then bail at the last second. So.
I understand. Hey, if Chef Mary knows, I ask anybody anything. So
Sean does not lack in asking.
That's true. Yeah, I learned that too. You have to not be afraid to say no.
If you don't ask, you don't know.
Exactly. Hey, Shad, you have a good day. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you.
It was fun. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
So, Mary, there's actually one picture that, Scotty sent me that I didn't show, but he sent me this, so I'm going to show this. An amazing photo, an action photo. I actually saw this game when it was on live, and he was running from shortstop into the outfield to go for a pop fly. And I was watching with a buddy who watches baseball a lot, and we said Scotty's efforts were amazing there, but that left fielder should have called him off. That's what I would say. That left fielder should have called him on. That would have been an out. But wow, talk about the efforts there, about putting your glove on the line.
It's amazing. I always wonder after they end this game, like if they're even walking, from all the running and falling down and the football players. But Scotty said something that I thought was kind of interesting. The lack of audience, at the event. In 2000, I joined the California culinary team, and we went to the Culinary Olympics in Germany.
Okay.
And it wasn't like sports. It was 52 different countries and nations and whatever competing in this culinary Olympic. But we only competed with ourselves and rules. And so there was everybody around us, but you zone in and you don't realize there's no one out there.
Right.
You kind of get zoned in. And I saw that with our students when they were doing competition. They just zone in where they are and they set their mindset and they stay focused. And so when he said that, it just brought me back to remembering that my job was to find the perfect 2 little wings for this little dove that they were making.
Okay.
And in that Olympics, you could win silver, bronze, and gold, but you didn't compete with anybody else.
Okay.
So that's always interesting to hear how you manage to have a team and play and not have that that outside audience at you. Right.
No. I like he said, they had to build up their own adrenaline because he didn't have cheering of the crowd and those types of things. And I could definitely see how that would be a major difference. I am happy to say that with our high school sports, we got them going on, and we've got people outdoors and so forth. And last week I even covered the La Quinta High Jersey Media Day, and we also went to the Mayor's Cup. That Mayor's Cup game, Mary, you wouldn't believe it. I thought I was looking at a regular season game that wrong. The stands were full on each side, and it's just great to see.
I think everybody wants to come out and after working at the arena and seeing people that are, I've always worked at the high school and just saw the football, basketball, baseball people. But at the arena, you see the singers, and the other day there were all the wrestlers and the people that support them and the people that come. We had 9,000 people there.
Yeah, exactly.
Cheering them on and having a great time. And I think that's really good. It's good for those performers.
Yes,
to have that
very
follow.
much so. Very much so. But Mary, I do have some other things that are going on today. I thought, anytime we get to bring on alumni, I just love those days and opportunities. Yes. I want to say that there's some of our best conversations that we have with people. But why don't you stay on while we close it out, and I'll catch up with you backstage here.
Okay. Well, you have a great weekend, a great Friday. And Scotty, we're proud of you. My gosh. And Olivia, my gosh, I saw your dad play probably before you were born.
Oh, yeah, it was well before Olivia was born. Definitely. Oh, yeah. But this is Sean Webb and Chef Mary. We're signing off for Classroom Conversations. We'll catch up with you next week. Mary, you're going to love this. On Tuesday, we're going to have Sunline Transit with us. They're going to talk about the free bus passes. Any student that has a middle school or high school ID, they're going to talk about your free bus pass. So we'll have Sunline Transit on with us on Tuesday. But look for Kevin Pillow tonight for the halftime show. Mary, have a great weekend. I'll see you later.
I will. You too.
Mary, I got technical difficulties. Here we go. Now we're ended.